What up, everybody? So, last night I got to see Joker 2, or as you can call it, Joker Folie Deux, and I really liked the first one. It is one of my favorite movies over the past couple years. I always felt like it was more of a character study. I never completely 100% felt like this is the Joker, but performance-wise, all across the board, the first one was just a solid, great movie on its own. And by the way it ended, I think it ended perfectly. And I didn't want a second one, but as soon as I heard a second one was coming out, obviously, if it does come out, I'm gonna watch it. So I will start off with a couple of positives because this movie is beautiful. It is immaculate to look at. The cinematography is top notch. Todd Phillips did not disappoint when it came to that. Um, there is a couple of good scenes in this movie. The first act of this movie is pretty interesting. The setup is pretty good. Um, the acting, even though I don't feel like it was Joaquin's strongest performance, it was still good enough. He still carried the movie on his back, and he's the reason why you're here. Lady Gaga did not do too bad. It kind of did feel like she was playing herself in some parts, but overall, I enjoyed the chemistry between the two of them. Did it feel a bit rushed? Absolutely. He meets her and then he instantly falls in love with her, and I get it because he hasn't really had anyone to attach to for his whole life, but at the same time, it just, from a story standpoint, it felt completely rushed. And but I'll get to that after. Like I said, the cinematography is just excellent, especially in the musical scenes, which, to be fair, a couple of them I actually did enjoy. I really liked the one in the courthouse. I really enjoyed that one. There was a couple of them I really enjoyed, but I felt like that really did not need to be in the movie at any point. And there was just, a couple cool scenes, but like other than that, man, I was really disappointed with this movie. Story wise, character wise, even some of the dialogue was just not that great. And another big complaint I have is the trial, the courtroom scene. And I'm actually, I'm one of those people that actually like courtroom drama movies. And I thought they would pull it off, but 90% of it is then just going back to the original movie and talking about the events that we've already seen, and trying to accuse Arthur of all these crazy killings, and just keep going back to the original, which I understand because, it just happened in this universe. But, like, that's really all what it was about. There wasn't really anything in the second movie that actually happened that made it even more interesting. There's not really any kills in this movie. There's a couple, like, in the dance scenes, which are in his head, so it doesn't really count. There's not one scene in this movie where Arthur Fleck does anything that the Joker would do. It's pretty insane. I was thinking, okay, the first act, pretty good. Second act, kind of lost my interest. And then by that point, I was like, okay, maybe there will be a huge what the hell moment at the end, something that just brings this all together. Maybe just, he busts out of the courthouse, gets free, and, maybe he goes on some rampage through the city. Who knows what's going to happen, because the build-up was quite interesting. And then we get to the end, or the middle and the end, and nothing happens. He literally gets taken out of or walks out of the courthouse because the building explodes. Not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. And he gets out, gets in a car with these two guys, doesn't feel comfortable with them, even though he's the one that inspired them because they're all wearing Joker makeup and everything. And he gets out, goes to see Harley, and as soon as he does that, he gets arrested. And then he basically dies at the end of the movie. I already know everyone knows this, so like it's not really a spoiler. Basically dies at the end of the movie, leaving it for like, what was this made for? The ending of the first one was so perfect, and then obviously Warner Bros. Wanted them to make a second one. Apparently Todd Phillips said this is just supposed to be one movie and that's it. And because they hit over $1 billion at the box office, obviously they're going to make another one. But they could have done it. I didn't mind the musical aspects. That was actually one of the more entertaining parts of the movie because everything else was just so stupid. They could have fit the musical stuff in there, but they really had no story with this movie. He's literally in Arkham at the beginning of the movie, and then he just keeps going to trial for crimes that he committed in the first movie. And by the time that's over, it's the end of the movie, and he dies. And while the courtroom drama is going on, there's just a million sequences of the musical, which adds nothing to the movie. So, goes into Arkham, breaks out, gets caught literally like 10 minutes later, gets put back into Arkham, and then dies, and then the movie ends. So, I don't really see the point. There was really no story here whatsoever, which I thought there was going to be. That's what I was expecting. Maybe it wasn't going to be amazing, but like there literally is not a story here. It's pretty ridiculous. It just felt like Joaquin didn't even want to be there. Some of the scenes were just, his acting was just nowhere near as good as the first one. His laughs didn't really hit the same. I don't know. It was just really weird not having at least one or two moments of Joker just, going on a rampage or something similar to the first movie. And yet again, they used the same score from the first movie, which I absolutely adore. I love it. And they put it in this movie, and it does not fit whatsoever. They didn't come up with anything new. I liked being in Arkham. I thought that was fun. I liked being in this little grungy, shitty jail, and it was cool for a while until like you realize, is anything actually going to happen? Is he gonna kill someone? Is he just gonna do anything that the Joker usually does? Even from the last movie? Like, nothing happens. Arthur doesn't have a line of dialogue until like 20 minutes in the movie. And his first line is, "Can I have a cigarette?" It's the first thing that he says. And like the opening scene of this movie, it's like pretty cool. You get to see him in Arkham with the door opening. It looks pretty badass. But like compare it to the beginning of the original movie, like you just can't top that movie in this trilogy. So instead of them making a third one, what do? They killed him. I would have rathered they kept him alive in Arkham, and then the third movie, he fucking gets out somehow, and then we can have like a normal Joker movie. Because even in the first one, by the end, I wanted to see a bit more of his crazy side. So I was like, oh, even if they do make a second one, which I don't want them to do, maybe we'll just get like a full-out Joker mode. You don't get at that in this. He puts the makeup and the suit on for literally the courtroom scene, and that's it. That's all we get. I don't even know why this movie is called Joker. It just sucks. I knew people said it was bad, but I didn't think it was gonna be this bad, and I can't stress it enough. The internet was right again, and it just sucks when you have such a good first movie, and in a way, this kind of ruined the first one for me in a way. Like if I go back and watch that now, and see that ending, knowing that that's not the end, but this is the end, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. I want to erase this movie from my memory. I don't know. I kind of wish I didn't even watch it because I wouldn't know what happened unless I get it ruined online, like I usually do. So that's kind of why I kind of wanted to see it. And like I'd rather see it with my own eyes instead of getting it ruined for me. And I kind of just wish I stayed home because going to the movies ain't cheap these days. I still had a good time with the people I went with, but it just wasn't worth it, man. Hopefully one day we'll get another Joker movie with, I mean, if Joaquin wants to come back, I'm good with that, but can we just have a good old-fashioned Joker story like the first one? Maybe put Batman in there. If not Batman, somebody, just somebody from this universe to just make it a bit more interesting. I know these movies are more character studies, but it would be nice to have the Joker, this kind of Joker, go up against somebody, because I think it would be very interesting. And a rated R rating would help a lot. So that's basically all I have to say about this movie. Very disappointed, very surprised on how just bad it was story-wise and character-wise. Lady Gaga just like gets up and leaves at one point, and you're kind of like, I kind of want to do that, but let's stick it out. Let's see if something happens. When he broke out of the prison, out of the courthouse, I was like, okay, maybe something will happen. Nothing happens in the 2 hours and 20 minutes you invest in your time to watch this. And it's really unfortunate because even though that it didn't need a sequel, they could have just made a good sequel and I would have been fine with that. But there's just no redeeming qualities in this movie other than the great cinematography and sometimes good acting. There's just nothing to watch. There's really nothing to see, and that hurts to say it, but it's true. This is my first review in a month, like a full review. Sorry about the delay, but yeah, I don't know what movie I'm going to be reviewing next, but it definitely isn't going to be, you know, a Batman Joker thing. I'm going to take a time off from this, other than the Penguin, because that's been impressing me. So maybe when I watch episode 2, which I have not yet, episode 3 comes out this Sunday, so maybe I'll do a review of those for you guys. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.